Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Outside the Cinema.
Yep.
I thought I was going to get away with not having the AC on in the studio today, but the last half hour or so, it's gotten pretty hot in here. So I turned it on. It is what it is. Welcome back, Chris. What's going on with you, dude?
Not too much. Not too much.
Well, that's good, right?
Yeah. It's just one of those weeks where it's like, can this week be over already?
It's Monday.
I know it's 2:30 on Monday, but I mean, come on. Seriously, that's how I feel.
I mean, the week hasn't even, your week hasn't even started yet.
I know. And I'm already done. So there we go.
That's fair. Welcome back to the show this week. A little bit of a diversion. I guess technically Prey is a Patreon pick. I believe was it Donnie that stepped up and said he wanted that to be his pick? Or
yeah, I don't know. Somebody I asked and somebody did it. That was great.
And then you wanted to do Jugface.
Yeah.
So that's the show this week.
Yeah, and that's 10 years old now, right?
9. Close enough.
Oh, okay.
Close enough. I'm all out of sorts. I was away all week. I was in New York like all last week, so I watched both movies this morning. So to catch up on everything, but I saw Rage Against the Machine on Friday night. It was fucking incredible. For a bunch of dudes in their 50s, they still fucking put on a hell of a show. And Zach Del Roca has a fucking torn ACL and had to play sitting down, and still was like one of the most animated frontmen I've ever seen.
Nice.
Ridiculous.
I saw they had to cancel a bunch of tours because of his health, but I'm glad you saw them.
So what happened was this tour's been postponed for 2.5 years already because of COVID. So they finally got the tour off the ground. The second night of the show, they didn't say what the injury was at the time. They were like, he injured his leg. Second show of the tour, right? Injures his leg. He's going to have to perform from a seated position for the rest of the tour.
Not unheard of.
Not unheard of. We saw Phil Collins do it last year, but Phil Collins is also like 90 years old.
Right, but what's his face there? Foo Fighters dude did it too.
Yeah, when he broke his leg, he did it. So we all thought it was like a broken leg or something.
Yeah, right.
He might have. Yeah, he might have.
Yeah.
But we all were like, oh, it must be a broken leg, or like he like sprained his ankle really bad, or like something. But he never had a cast or anything put on it. So they just kept talking about it. And then when we were in New York on Thursday, the announcement came out that they were canceling all their remaining tour plans for the rest of the year, but we're finishing the Madison Square Garden shows. So believe me, I would have been real fucking mad if we had gone to New York and spent all this money on a hotel room. And it was we took a nice little vacation, Mel and I, which was nice. But they did the rest of the shows, and then it came out after one or two of the shows there that he's actually got a torn ACL. Which if you're a football player or a basketball player, it's 9-10 months on the shelf. I'm assuming he wouldn't need to be laid up that long, but I'm assuming he has to have surgery to fix it at this point. But it's one of those things where if the ACL's torn and it's torn cleanly, it's not going to heal on its own anyway, so it didn't make sense to have the surgery immediately. I think his doctors probably were like, you got to have this fixed. You can't keep going with it like this.
Right.
So
right.
Hopefully he gets healthy. I know I talked to a bunch of people on my Instagram that had tickets for shows in Europe that were bummed. So hopefully they reschedule. They didn't reschedule those shows as of yet. They canceled the tour for refunds. Except for their festival appearances, which apparently some people are pretty pissed off because they were supposed to headline Reading and Leeds. And they replaced them with the band the 1975, which 1975 is a good band, but not a fair trade-off if you were going to see Rage Against the Machine.
Right. Yeah, and you know what? The sad thing is that that's something that everybody that wanted to go is going to. Susie and the Banshees canceled at one of the first two Lollapaloozas, and I couldn't make their makeup concert, and I'm still kind of salty about that.
Yeah, what happens?
They were one of the ones I went to go see. That was definitely I am going to see. I've never seen them, so it's just one of those things. It's like I made the plans, I did everything, something out of my control happened. Oh well.
Been there.
You can still be pissed about it. That's fine, but don't be pissed at Zach for it.
No, I don't think people are. I think
that's good.
They're just mad at the situation.
Yeah.
But so anyway, back into OTC news, or OTC related news. The Woodsman has been chosen for a few more film festivals. It's playing, I think Charlotte Film Festival. I like, not to be like, we got like 4 or 5 in the last couple weeks. I can't remember what they are. Charlotte Film Festival. The Philadelphia Underground Film Festival. Mystic. It's playing the Mystic Connecticut Film Festival. I forget what else, man. It's got picked up for a bunch of stuff. And we're super, super psyched about it and super happy about it.
Nice.
So I'll post I'll post on the Facebook group what and where it's playing if you're interested in coming out and supporting it. It's done well. It's won an award already, and we're real psyched about it. So hopefully can keep that rolling along. So I don't really have a whole lot else. I'm sorry. I'm also real tired today. Apologies if I seem a little stuck in the mud. I got this thing, man, and anytime I go away, and I don't travel nearly as much as my wife does, but I travel a fair amount between stuff for work and just kind of like doing stuff. I do not sleep well in hotel rooms. So like I haven't last night was my first, because we got home yesterday afternoon. Last night was my first good night's sleep since Tuesday. Oof. Or actually, I guess since Monday, because we left at 5 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday, so I didn't sleep well on Monday night either. But like, I'm just so tired, and I can't sleep in a hotel room, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Right? It's just it's usually a very nice, comfortable bed.
I'm going to blame horror movies for this.
Okay.
Because I watched VHS before we went on vacation, and I had a real hard time sleeping after I watched the Ty West one about the person that comes into the room while they're sleeping while they're on vacation.
Understandable.
So that's one thing. Also, like, you're vulnerable in a place you're not familiar with. And you can't be any more vulnerable than when you're asleep.
This is true.
So I get it. I totally get it. I would never make fun of somebody for that. Not that I would make fun of you for, well, I do all the time make fun of you for stuff, but it's show related.
Make fun of me for different things.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not scared to sleep. It's not a fear thing. I just can't sleep. I toss and turn all night. Wake up. I'll fall asleep and I'll wake up in like 10 minutes, and then I'll fall asleep and wake up in 20 minutes. And
no, it might not be a fear thing, but I was, for me, it's like that's that weird thing. But I mean, it could just be you're in an uncomfortable place and your body, your brain just can't, put it all in the right order for you to finally rest.
Can't put it all away.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
So, speaking of putting it all away, we're going to do Prey, and we are going to do Prey, Prey, the new Predator sequel, that is technically the 5th Predator movie. I think it's the 5th.
Predator 2, Predators, the Predator. Yeah, unless... Because then that calls into question, do we count Alien versus Predator as Predator movies, or are they their own thing? Is it a movie with a Predator in it?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think
it's the 6th solo outing for Predators.
There. Yeah, perfect. I like that. 6th solo outing for Predators. And then the other film is Jugface. Surprisingly enough, I know a bunch of people were curious what our thoughts on Prey were, so that's what we're going to start with this week. Prey in the United States is available to stream exclusively on Hulu. It is considered a Hulu original. They purchased the rights to, because it's a 20th Century Fox film, correct?
Yep.
Which means it's owned by Disney, and Disney owns Hulu. So there you go.
I like that.
Worked out for us this time.
It did.
It did. So all right. Well, here's let me fire up a trailer. Damn it, it's not connected again. Unfucking believable. Hold on, Jesus. I can't win. I can't win. Like, why doesn't everything just stay connected all the time? Connect to it, please. Finally, Jesus Christ.
That just doesn't want to.
Let's try it again.
It's like, dude, you went away.
There we go.
Why Why do you want to hunt?
Because you all think that I can't. I saw a sign in the sky. I'm ready.
Maui, Nita.
There's something out there. I'm coming with you.
You can't.
I'm trying to protect you.
Protect me from what? It's time.
It knows how to hunt. I know how to survive. Whatever did this, I can kill it.
All right. Prey 2022, directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who's best known as the director of 10 Cloverfield Lane, starring Amber Midthunder, Dakota Beavers, and Dane DeLaGuerro as the Predator. This essentially is presented to us as a sort of origin story for the Predator on Earth. They say it in some of the trailers, witness the Predator's first visit to Earth, which makes sense when you kind of see the way it plays out and the way it reacts and the way it acts to things. And it lands into the center of the Comanche Nation about 300 years ago or so. It said 1717, I think, is what it said originally in the thing, which is, I think, a really smart way to pull everything back and, simplify things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to set you loose in a minute because I know you've got opinions and I know you've got.
It's fine. It's good.
No, I'm looking forward to setting you loose on this because you love all the little details of things. And essentially, it's the Predator's here on this planet for the first time, and he's finding his trophies, and it's all simple. It's all simple. So, Chris, what did you know a lot about this going into it, or did you kind of try to keep yourself ignorant?
No, I watched the first trailer, saw that it was 300 years ago, and I'm like, all right, fucking good. Now I don't need to know anything else. And then I just waited. I saw some pictures of the woman who's the main character, and I'm like, that looks good. Okay, yep. And that was it. Because, I mean, the first Predator movie really does kind of end up being like a complete shift in storytelling halfway through, and I was kind of hoping I could get maybe the same surprise if I just didn't pay attention to stuff online.
Okay.
So,
all right, then. So, we're dropped into things fairly quickly, or introduced to your main characters of Naru and her brother Tabi. They're members of the Comanche Nation. They are, Native Americans. They hunt to live, to get their food, to create their weapons, to create their clothes. It's a pretty, no one can see me doing it other than you, but I'm doing air quotes. A realistic depiction of Native American life in the Great Plains.
Yeah.
At that time. Small tribes together, living off the land and helping each other. There's a definite structure and class to their levels. They believe Naru, like, she wants to be a hunter, but because she's a woman, they're like, no, that's not what you're supposed to do. Why can't you?
She's going to be more of like the medicine woman for the tribe.
Right,
she's training for that. It looks like. Yeah,
but yet she's also a very elite hunter and as she says, a survivor. So things are fairly simple as we start. We're introduced to their life, but then we hear some stuff in the woods, and then she sees the ship come through the clouds, and
Which,
she's like, "Hey."
To me, that was the first brilliant thing that was done with this movie.
Okay, why is that? Why do you think that was so brilliant?
Tie the alien from space into Native American beliefs.
Okay.
Because she said, I saw the Thunderbird.
Yep.
And I'm like, holy shit, no, that was an invisible predator dropship. Fucking brilliant. That's the little stuff that makes me have faith in a writer when they think of little things, but it's like, oh, obviously that makes sense. So it's a little slow starting up, but at that point, which is only about 10, 15 minutes into the movie, I think, I was like,
probably, but I'd say that about 15 is the latest.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, movie, you got me. I'll wait and see what you got.
Right, and I like that they don't immediately then throw you into it. Like you then have some more time of them doing some hunting.
Yep.
And then there's a point where she's coming back, and the men of the tribe come through and are basically like, oh, one of the tribe members was taken by a lion.
Right.
So we're tracking down the lion and trying to help him.
I will say,
where they're
when I first watched this, I'm like, lions? The fuck? I was so tired.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, wait. There's such a thing as mountain lions. Okay.
Yep.
Dummy. I've never heard of them referred to as lions, just straight up lions.
No, they always say
before.
mountain lion.
Yeah.
So they're tracking the mountain lion, trying to find their friend that's been taken by it. They eventually find him, and then they're out in the woods, and that's when stuff starts to happen, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they find the lion, and they have a fight.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is a straight to Hulu movie, so there have to be, I think, some concessions here and there, because I'm assuming the budget was lower than a feature Predator film in the theater. Special effects though aren't bad, but there is this layer of that looks like CG. You know what I mean?
I thought they were pretty good, though.
Yeah.
All things considered, with whatever I don't know what the budget was for this. I'm guessing probably somewhere around the $125 million mark, probably.
Okay, that would be a lot higher than I would have figured, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
no,
I'm wrong.
I don't know. I didn't look it up. I figured lower, like 65, 80. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
I will.
But there was no points where I thought it looked hokey.
No.
Or anything.
No, not hokey. Definitely not. No.
Because they kept the Predator pretty well hidden for the first chunk of the movie, using his cloaking armor, but what I really did like as they start to kind of unveil him and you start to see more is it is 300 years in the past.
Yeah.
And so they are not. So the Predators are also not nearly as advanced as they are when we meet them 300 years later in the original Predator, or future years when we see them battling the aliens and stuff.
Right.
Much more simplified armor, much more simplified face helmet. And we know that this Predator is probably not as strong as some of the other ones we see, because a big part of it was that they had a hard time with the Earth's atmosphere, which is why they wore the full helmet.
Right. But, I mean, I guess let's just get into the technical aspect of this and talk about the Predator's loadout, I guess. First, he's wearing a bone helmet, or a helmet that looks like bone. So he's hunted before, and he has his tech worked into the helmet with one spectrum of vision, it looks like. And we never actually see the Predator's sight with the helmet off, which would have been a huge, tip one way or the other to let us know. Because, okay, so there's so many things. In the last Predator movie, it's thrown out there that they hunt to improve their DNA. they bring other things in to their genetic line to make them better hunters. And given how this predator looks and the fact that he doesn't have to hunt in the heat and he can breathe this atmosphere, gotta say that the predator that Schwarzenegger fought against must have been down the genetically modified line. Because, first off, the face is completely different. This predator face looks like a mix between the city predator from 2 and the original Jean-Claude Van Damme bodysuit that he was wearing. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I would be really interested to see them go back even further and have the original predators look like that. And then, because it has eyes on the side of its head, but in order to be a good hunter, you need stereoscopic vision and your eyes have to come toward the front of your head. And the jungle and city predators from the first 2 have, it's Kevin Peters Hall's eyes right there in the front. So hunting position for the eyes. I think it would be really interesting to see if the predators really just enjoyed hunting and made it a part of their honorific culture. And so they decided to try to be the best they could be through technological modification.
Yeah. You know what? I'm looking here. I don't think I ever watched The Predator.
It's fine.
I don't think I ever watched it, though.
Okay.
I don't have it on my IMDb list.
Oh.
And it's not on my watch list.
I don't remember a lot about it. I remember
definitely watched Predators. I definitely watched that.
Yeah, Predators was fun, but that's it. That Predators was the aliens of the Predator series. And that was just fun.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Continue.
Oh, I don't even remember what I was saying. So, yeah.
You're getting into tech. Keep going.
So his technology is older, which is fucking fantastic, because the one thing that bugs me about Knights of the Old Republic is that everybody's running around with droids and lightsabers and hyperspace spaceships 4,000 years before the original trilogy. Like, the only thing you did different was, round off the top of this droid's head in 4,000 years. Like, that always pissed me off. 4,000 years ago, we were fighting with, swords and rocks and shit, So a predator to come in with a fully loaded plasma cannon and 8 different fields of vision would have been a little much. It would have been totally lopsided. So this predator seems like they almost like they wear like sort of indigenous clothing, because his feet are wrapped and he seems more of a natural rather than technological hunter. And the blades are used. Obviously, blades are, one of the first weapons you learn how to make once you're making tools.
And they show that with the Native Americans, too, with them making their axe and sharpening the knives out of rocks.
Yep. And modifying the hatchet to be returnable, which I thought was great. Totally would never, ever work without taking her arm off at one point, but looked pretty awesome. And that's really what Predator movies are about. Oh, Jesse Ventura, you're carrying around a minigun in the middle of the jungle. Who cares? It looks cool. Right?
Very true. Very true.
So, the Predator's main ranged weapon is this handgun that fires off foot-long metal bolts. Sort of like a rail gun with no rail. It looks like it's a magnetic firing weapon. And the 3 dots, I loved what they did with this. The 3 dots, laser dots on the helmet, can separate to target different parts of whatever it's hunting, which is something that may have been lost because a plasma bolt will take down whatever it hits. But if you're hunting a wolf or a bear, you're going to want to hit it in the neck and maybe the back leg to immobilize it and all kinds of stuff. So there's a lot of thought put into the weapons here. And also, I'm just looking at a picture of them. The hair is thinner and there seems to be more of it. Which is an interesting design change because it makes the head more fluid and dynamic. But he also has some other weapons. He's got the shield that is also a portable guillotine, which I guess could be a precursor to the smart disc from part 2. He's got a retractable, separatable club spear thing, so that retractable technology has been with the Predators forever. And the one that I really loved was the net, because it's a D modification of the one from part 2, where the Predator fires at one of the drug dealers that were doing the voodoo ritual, and it drills into the wall, and then micro-sized motors reel in the wire net, cutting the person apart. I really like that. But in this one, it was like 8 chunks that spread around like the net gun in The Running Man, and then connect behind the guy, tighten up, and kill him. And I'm like, oh, that's a pretty cool logical progression of how that tech should work. That's the shit I love.
Yeah.
Like, people really looked at the originals and said, all right, where did this come from? And it was just great. And the Predator moving from one type of prey to the other. If this truly was the Predator's first time on Earth, I could understand not having the breathing mask if it didn't know. Fine. But also, the only Predator that uses the breathing thing was the City Predator after he was hurt. So it could have actually been some kind of medicine he was taking to numb the pain, right? Or some kind of stimulant to get him going to keep fighting.
Maybe.
We don't know. We do know that this definitely flies in direct confrontation with They Come When It's Hot. But you know what? There's more to explore, so I'm fine with that. All in all, the Predator costume was pretty good. I did think the hands looked like they were bought out of a store, though.
Yeah, the hands were a little suspect.
Yeah.
In terms of the story they're telling, I liked how midway through it they introduced the French fur trappers, settlers, whatever you want to call them.
Oh, they foreshadowed them. Great.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
Because there needed to be a bigger body count, and as we knew, and this Predator, they really, really lay on the he's not going after you if he doesn't consider you a threat.
Yes.
So if you're not attacking him and he doesn't really think anything of you, he's going to leave you alone.
Right.
So we knew that the Native American tribe, there wasn't going to be enough of them for the body count that you're going to want for this.
Right.
So bringing in the French explorers and fur trappers was brilliant, because they became just like fucking machine gun fodder.
Oh,
to
absolutely.
be able to like just be off to left and right and show off and showcase a lot of the tech that you were talking about. And they were super dislikable because they take Naru and her brother and
the
use
dog
them as bait and stuff.
And the dog,
And the
sorry.
dog.
Yeah. Oh, that dog was... Did you read about that dog?
Yeah, it's the same type of dog that would have been there at the time,
but
because it was brought over.
They got the dog from a shelter. And that was it. They just trained it a little bit. That's it. That's awesome.
Yeah, that dog was awesome.
Yeah. I love that dog. Like, great face, great expressions. Like it's almost like it was like, I know what I'm doing. All right.
Well, and it looks a lot like a prairie dog. Like it looks like a prairie dog. What was I going to say? I was going to say something now. I forget. Crap.
I can't help you. I have no idea.
No. So yeah, the French fodder that they get there, and they think they're all badasses. There's this one scene where they lay down with their rifles and they all shoot their rifles, and like doesn't affect the Predator at all. And then they all go to reload, and he just takes all 3 of them out when they stop to reload.
That is so awesome. Because
Perfect.
Because we're used to automatic fire, because you have military guys or cops or somebody with access to weapons and knowledge to use them. The fur trappers, like, what are they using their weapons for? To scare people off their territory?
Maybe take a shot at
food hunting
or something,
right? Yeah, it's you definitely can't fight a predator with a BB, a big BB.
So, how did you feel about the Naru character? And she has her hero moments, but I liked her.
Yeah.
Her look was great. You know, the war paint they had her use.
Yep.
Her also actually being from the Comanche Nation is a big part of it too. Because I know one of the things a lot of people talked about is they did a version of this in the Comanche dialect.
Right.
I watched it in English only because I know that it was recorded. It was filmed and recorded in English,
Right.
so it was the most natural.
Yes.
But I liked that they kept it very true to what it would have been.
Yeah.
Did you like her as your hero?
Oh yeah. She's a great actress. I think she really as a person, not as the actress, I think she fully understood that this is a crazy concept that's handled seriously. And I think she pulls that off, because there are some people that in some Predator movies that are like, are you sure you know how dangerous this shit is? But she got it. I mean, a campier performance could have just ruined it, but she is definitely fantastic that way. I think she got the assignment, I think, is what the kids say nowadays. I won't ever say that again. No, she was great, and I love the relationship she had with the dog.
Yep.
You of course have the one dickhead in the tribe that thinks he knows better than everybody else. Which I thought was the only cliche that we get, because the hunters are always like, I'm the better hunter, and it's like, who gives a shit as long as we bring home food?
Right. No, but I mean that's probably true to how it is.
Yeah, I mean
was.
everybody is like that now and then.
Every family's got at least one person in the family that they're like, that guy's a dick.
Yeah. Not my family. Oh wait, it's me.
That guy's a dick.
Yeah.
All right. So what else do you want to say about this? Because it's brand new, so I don't want to. Not that we haven't.
This movie was
ruined it,
filmed in the best locations I've seen for any kind of movie like this.
Well, it's filmed in British Columbia, if I'm not mistaken.
It looked like 300 years ago. Like, I am so happy that there are
Calgary,
places,
Alberta, Canada.
Yeah, I'm so happy there are places that still look like this, that you could still go to and still see, and that not everything has been developed, within an inch of its life. It was.
Yeah.
I actually, the second time watching through, I was like, I really, really want to go there. I just want to get a cabin and just have the mountains outside. And it seemed really awesome.
Dude, that's Canada, man. You get 20 minutes outside of Toronto and it's just, there's just nothing.
Yeah. I think I would have been happy living back then, because it's just, everything's beautiful. Except for the predators. That's a problem. Oh, and the skinwalkers and Wendigo and Big Feet.
Thunderbird and all of those
Yeah.
guys. Well, I mean, unless you want anything else to add, we'll give our final thoughts on it?
The only other thing is I tried to watch the Comanche version, but it's a dub. They didn't reshoot the scenes, so they were speaking it. So I skipped back over, because I'm like, that's awesome that they did that, but if I can help it, I like the words to match up to the mouth. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with you 100%.
But that's awesome. It's still awesome.
All right, Chris.
Anyway, yeah.
Do you recommend, and what is your grade for Prey?
Yeah, I'm going to recommend this. And I think I'm going to put this maybe second on my list of favorite Predator movies. So we'll go Predator the first, this one, Predator the second, and then probably Predators and the Predator last. Alien versus Predators, Requiem isn't even on the list, but Alien versus Predator is kind of a, I'm in a stupid mood. I want to watch a stupid movie, and then you watch that.
All right.
But this was a serious stealth tension film. Oh, the other thing I didn't mention, his his cloaking technology is different. It's not the wavy outline of the body. It's more like small squished hexagons that reacts. It's almost like it's a prototype suit that he's trying for the first time. And that was great too, because instead of the blue electricity, you get a little red glow. So you're like, it's different, and you know it's different. And the movie is constantly visually reminding you this is a different time. And that was good. There was a lot of thought put into this, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to give it a B+.
B+. All right. I'm going to recommend it too. I enjoyed it. I don't think I enjoyed it quite as much as you, but I still liked it.
I like monster movies.
I would say.
What can I say?
I would say it's good. I'd say it's good. It's not great, but I agree. It's probably the second best in the series. Second only to the original. And what I really did enjoy about this is that it was played serious. It was played very much in the world that it was supposed to be being presented in. There wasn't really a whole lot of stuff that I had to like stretch to buy into.
Yeah.
I had to be like, oh, the Great Plains. I'm like, aren't the Great Plains flat? There's no mountains in the Great Plains. But then I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay, I guess there is.
Yeah. I hate that when I think I know something, I look it up and I'm like, I've been wrong my entire life.
Yeah, seriously. But I love the inclusion of the French people being brought into it, and then they had the guns, and then that gun is that not the gun that's given to?
It is.
Okay. I won't ruin that then for anyone.
Anybody that's watched part 2 now knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Never mind. Not important.
You know what else was neat too? How they removed all the organic material from the skull. Just little shit like that is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't love it. I'm gonna give it a B-, I think. It didn't. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. It's a good movie. It's just not great.
Yeah. I mean, it's a Predator movie. It's not. Schindler's
the original.
List.
I think I love the original. So it's kind of tough.
Yeah,
it's kind of tough. I do kind of. I kind of want to go back and revisit. I guess pretty much all the other ones, because I don't think, except for maybe Predators, I didn't watch that long ago. But even the Alien versus Predator ones, I don't know, something about me wants to go back and take a look at those for some reason.
Yeah, I may watch Predators in the next couple days just to the Predator. I mean. Just because when I watched it,
I've never watched that, so I probably should check it out, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's fine.
We'll see.
It's kind of, I don't know. It strays, but they definitely follow. I think they follow some of the mythology they threw in there. So, whatever. Just keep making Predator movies. If they suck, whatever. We'll move on to the next one.
That's fair. All right. Next up is 2013's Jugface. This was your pick.
Yes.
I had never actually watched it. The name has come up a number of times. Let's take a listen to a trailer.
The pit has spoken. It is an honor to be chosen to be with it in this world. You know that. But without the blood, the waters, the pit would heal no one.
I want to see if you've been fooling around before you shame all of us.
It'll make it right. It always does.
Has the pit ever taken a baby?
They ain't gonna test you. And you better blame it on somebody else. I don't care who.
Now Dwyer is gonna search this place again. And if he does not find a Jugface, well, then we wait. We wait until the pit guides us hand to make another.
What if the face I see ain't the right one?
Never been wrong before, have you?
Dwyer! What did you do?
You think you can just turn your back on us?
Maurice! You all right?
It's all my fault.
Whose blood is that?
Ada didn't tell you.
Tell me what? pit wants what it wants.
Okay, Jugface from 2013, written and directed by Chad Crawford Kinkley. He also worked as a camera operator on Dementor.
Yeah, he directed that one. That one I didn't know he did. It's on Tubi, so I'm going to check that out.
So I did not know, and I didn't know a whole lot about this. I'd seen the cover kicking around. It's available to watch on a number of different streaming services. I watched it on Shudder.
Yep.
I think it's on AMC Plus. I think it might be on Tubi too. It's a bunch of places. Starring Sean Bridgers, Lauren Ashley Carter, Caitlin Cullum, Larry Fasden, and Sean Young.
Yeah.
Who's the big name actress they got to be in this.
Sean Young specifically asked to be made ugly for this. And they did a good job. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. No, well, I was going to actually let you run with it because this was the one that you picked and you said you wanted to cover. Okay. So maybe give us a little bit why you wanted to cover it and then kick into the synopsis and stuff.
I wanted to cover this because it is it's kind of a play on your religious cult movies, but this one has nothing to do with any previously established religion, but they spell it out how it works so well that their actions are completely believable within the context of the film. And the way they let this pit decide what's going on is kind of fascinating. You have Dwight, who is the potter, and he gets a vision from the whatever Wikipedia says there's a creature in the pit, but I don't know if it's a physical creature. I think it's more of like an entity, like a floating malevolent spirit kind of thing, not a physical creature, right? So the creature or the entity in the pit tells Dwight during his fugue state that what to sculpt, and he sculpts a face, fires the jug. Like an old moonshine jug, but it's like a face. Like the old 70s mugs you had with like Chewbacca's head sculpted onto it, that kind of thing.
Right.
Like a jug they'd use in Lord of the Rings is what I'm saying. And Ada, our main character, after we find out that she's been regularly having sex with her brother, goes and looks and see whose face was on. She wants a sneak peek, and she finds out that the jug has her face on it, which is not cool because we find out later what happens. So she takes it and hides it, and in the meantime, we don't think any of this because Sean Young wants to make sure that she's had her period, which is really strange and uncomfortable, and it gets weird from there because there's arranged marriages. But with the jug missing, the pit needs blood. And it takes blood. It just will take anyone but the person it wants to take. Which then leads us into the explanation of why the jug face is made. Because if you are not, like if it was my face and I was not sacrificed, it wouldn't kill me. It would kill everybody I care about. So it forces you to sacrifice yourself, which I think is horrifying. So the whole movie is kind of based around her being pregnant with her brother's kid, being engaged to this other dude. They live in the backwoods. They use moonshine to get money to buy what they need. Really, if you took the pit and incest out of this, like, they're fine. Right? They wash their clothes down in the river. They don't bother anybody. They're a little religious, but then we find out more about the pit and what's going on and what happens if you deny the pit what it wants. And it's got a lot of relations to other ways that religions will excommunicate people or shun them. It's almost like this like a I don't want to say legitimate, but one of the major religions has been corrupted by them finding the healing powers of this pit. And it feels like if they didn't use the pit to clear out the pox that their ancestors had, they wouldn't need to sacrifice anybody to it. But because they went against the natural order, they have to sacrifice their people in order to stay healthy. It's fucked up.
Yeah. It is.
So the story focuses on Ada, and she is the absolute perfect mix of complete innocence and kind of just primal, unthought out urges. Because she's an undetermined age and coming into
She's a teen.
womanhood. You want to know something fucked up?
Yeah.
The actress was 44.
Really?
Yeah, I looked it up in a bunch of places. Lauren Ashley Carter was 44 when she filmed this. I'm going to look it up again.
What? I don't. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, let me see.
That's insane.
Yeah, it does. It says she is 49 years old, 4 months and 11 days. Wow. She just has one of those faces. It says she was born on December 31st, 1969.
Wow.
She does not look a day over 24 in this.
No, yeah. I would have said that she was probably around in her early 20s is what I would have said.
Yeah. And she's playing, what, 17 to 25, somewhere around there.
I would have said about 16 is what I think they were trying to present.
That's
her as.
amazing. She also, she's a fantastic actress.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
I had never seen her in anything before this, but then I did go on to watch Arctic and something else I forget that she was in, and she's great. I want to see her in more stuff. I think she deserves to,
Well, she's too old, apparently.
be recognized. Not looking. That's what matters to casting agents, right?
That's true. That is true. So yeah, I hadn't seen this, and I do love me some folky religious horror. I liked how quiet this movie was. What I didn't like was the kind of not lack of explanation, because they give you enough to go with it, but the presentation of like the shadow boy that comes into play.
Yep.
And the just kind of like nonchalantness that she has of like, she lets too many people get killed before she realizes what she needs to do. And that made me hate her, because I was like, okay, I get it. You don't want to die. You want to survive. She was supposed to be pregnant. She was supposed to have this baby, and like she didn't want to kill the baby. Like, and I get all of that.
Right.
But when like this thing has killed multiple members of your family, and it's killed your friends and your friends' parents, like and it's because of you.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to think that if I was in her position, like one person getting killed, and then that weird shadow guy being like, "Yeah, this is your fault because you hid the jug," would have been like, "All right, well, I guess I gotta own up." She lets everybody get killed before she gives up, and then she sacrifices herself. So almost to the point where I'm like, this didn't even mean anything.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, how many horror movies are exactly that? People running away, people getting in the way.
I don't know. Name 12.
Killed. Okay, Friday the 13th, 1 through 12.
No, none of those. Nobody in Friday the 13th did anything in particular to have Jason kill their family, where if they had just given themselves up, they all would have been fine.
Okay, Final Destination. If they had it just died in the beginning.
Right. But they would have never known.
I know.
So either way,
But
though,
initially,
I like,
initially she is doing it to protect her baby because I think she's okay at some point with just her, but I don't think she can do it. I don't think she could do it with the baby. I don't think she could just give it up. You know, it's
all very. I mean, it's all very strange.
Yeah.
Just everything like her having the affair with her brother, which is never really explored outside of that it happened.
right. Well, I mean,
And then
we all know flowers in the attic. You keep two people close
Yeah,
together,
yeah.
they're gonna stick it in each other.
So okay, we're gonna
And that's
zip
more
right by
the
that.
brother's fault than the daughter, than the sister's fault.
Right, exactly. I like that it still lived in the real world. Like they went into town and they sold the moonshine and like got supplies and stuff. So I liked that aspect of it. And like there's a couple times where like the people in town are just kind of like, yeah, don't mess with those people. They're out in the woods doing weird religious shit.
Yep.
Just let it be.
It was like when we were at Blockbuster and that family came in. Like, oh shit, here they
Yes.
are. Just do whatever they need and they'll leave.
Yep. Eventually.
But then more of them will come in because there's 1,000 of them.
Yeah, this is true. Also true. So I liked it to a point.
Part of the
I just got to I got to the point where I'm like, she's letting too many people die before she does what she needs to do.
Yeah, but she didn't like those
And then-
people. She didn't want to be married to that guy. And also, that was Dwight's
he didn't-
fault.
Right.
Because
But
yeah.
like he like but the people that died, none of them did anything to anybody.
No.
You know what I mean?
But are we supposed
The
to
brother
understand what a god does? I mean,
No. But like I'm
yeah.
I'm trying to back my
No, I
point
got
up of like she let innocent people get killed when she could have stopped it much earlier.
Yeah.
And I get that was the point of the story and the reason for the whole second half of the movie, but I was just I had a hard time getting on board with her and then feeling bad like when she eventually meets her demise, because I don't think it's a spoiler to know that like ain't nobody coming out of this looking good.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I think I felt like she's just in a no-win situation and she's a kid making mistakes.
Yeah.
And
Again,
self-preservation
I agree with
is a heavy thing, you know. It'll it'll definitely throw you in directions you don't expect, I think.
Cuz it killed 6 people before she faced up to what she needed to, I think it was 6.
There was the girl at the river, there was the one they lowered in,
Mary.
the brother.
Yep,
Yeah,
yeah,
six could be right. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. What was the deal with the Shadow Kid? He was. Why was he still hanging around? Because the grandfather
was
wronged him?
supposed to be the one that was sacrificed, I believe, and because he wasn't, that kid was killed in his place. So I don't know why the pit continues to kill people here, but maybe that's the one ghost. I don't know. I mean, if he's excommunicated, would the pit then be like, all right, well, if he's no longer part of the community, I guess I'll stop killing people. But then, I don't know.
Right.
He
That part wasn't clear to me. If that's the idea of like that his soul or whatever hung around because he wasn't supposed to be killed for it. Wouldn't all of those other people that died in the movie itself, like the friend, the brother, like shouldn't those people have then showed up too?
maybe it takes a long time. I don't know. I could make excuses, but I don't know.
Splitting hairs with it, man. Splitting hairs.
Yeah.
With it. All right. Well, let's grade it. All right, Chris, do you recommend and what's your grade for Jugface?
All right, I'm gonna recommend this. This guy created a brand new religion and made an interesting story out of it. And I think I've watched this about 5 times since it first came out. Just because Ada is so innocent in the beginning, and the actress is so great. Whether you like her character or not, she's great.
Right. I won't disagree with that.
And I like Larry Fessenden in this. He's exactly the kind of person you need him to be. I thought everybody played the dirty redneck really well. And Yeah, I think it's just a nice, interesting exploration of an alternate religion, with horrifying consequences. So I'm gonna give this also a B+ because I really enjoyed it. And
Okay.
I'm gonna watch the movie from the other guy. I mean, the other movie from the guy.
All right, I'm gonna recommend it. I think there's enough here, and it's interesting enough. It's definitely original. I mean, it's not completely breaking new ground, but it's an original idea and a fresh take on the cult religious horror stuff that we've seen a number of times. And I think it's well written enough that it's worth checking out. And I think there's some people that will really like it, and then there's some people like me that'll be like kind of hot and cold on certain parts of it. I didn't dislike it by any sense of the imagination. And I kind of think it sucks that for the second movie in a row this week, I'm going to be like, it's good, it's not great. And I know that sounds like I'm slagging on it, but it's good. It's good. Some people will like it more than others.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the type of thing that like you need to rush out and be like, make sure you watch this right now. But if it sounds interesting and it's up your alley, then yeah, definitely check it out. So I guess I'll give it a B-, just like
That's fair.
C+, B-.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I liked it as much as Prey. So there you have it. I don't know, man. I'm in an off week. I'm real tired.
No, that's
Sorry.
you liked them, so that's good. I'm glad I picked one that you liked. I mean, yeah, little problems. Obviously, I can get on board with those with you, but
yeah. I mean, and that's more just me, like, because I'm reviewing it like that. If I was just like, someone's like, "Oh, what'd you think?" I wouldn't be like, "Well, she should have only allowed 1.5 murders before realizing."
No, I was more like
anyway.
Marge Simpson. Marge Simpson. Sorry,
Marge
Yes,
Simpson.
I just think it's neat.
I just think it's neat.
That's
all.
that really is a lot of just how I see. If I think it's neat, I like it. Yeah, there you go.
That's fine. Speaking of neat, our good friend Joe is slogging his way through the Resident Evil franchise. He's at the 4th installment this week. Let's see what he thought of this one.
Well, hello, Bill. Hello, Chris, and hello, OTC Nation. It's your boy Joe here, and, well, this week Bill took me from Las Vegas to, just all over the goddamn place, because he made me watch Resident Evil Afterlife. Lazy Sunday morning? Check. Cup of coffee and a croissant? Check. Watching a movie that's probably going to be just okay at best? Check. Having to type around Quark's goddamn tail because he can't be more than 18 inches away from me at all times? Checkity check. Resident Evil has been kind of eye-opening for me. No joke. If you had told mid to late 20s movie snob Joe that he was going to watch the entire Resident Evil movie franchise, he'd have blown clove smoke in your face and cut a 10-minute promo about movies not being a product, or some such smug, self-satisfied grandstanding. Mid-40s Joe understands that while it's okay to feel those feelings, perspective is important, the world has bigger problems, and calm the fuck down, nerd. So far, the Resident Evil movies have been fine.
Right.
Listen, they're fine. I'm trying to convince myself just as much as I'm trying to convince you. They're fine. Listen, they're fine. Though I do find it strange how many movies could have been turned into theatrical franchises with multiple entries that probably could have been great. I'm looking at you, Starship Troopers, that instead got turned into straight-to-video garbage. Yet Resident Evil persisted with 6 theatrical entries despite ever-worsening reviews and quickly becoming like the poster child for homogenized summer blockbuster fluff. I don't get it. Anyway, I haven't even started this movie yet, and my first wonder is if they continue with the zombies somehow turned the world into one big barren desert, or if they'll just drop that, like WCW suddenly dropped Hulk Hogan, literally killing the Giant by shoving him off the roof at Cobo Hall in Detroit, and then the Giant just showed up at the next pay-per-view without a scratch on him. Let's find out together. Okay, So, why am I 30 minutes into a goddamn ding-dong Resident Evil movie that, apart from one, 10-second clip in the opening credits, has featured exactly 0 zombies? Also, Paul W.S. Anderson definitely walked confidently into the boardroom of Screen Gems, slapped down a VHS copy of The Matrix, and said, "You know that first 20 minutes of the film we've been looking for? Well, watch this." It wasn't just inspired by The Matrix. It wasn't a loving homage to The Matrix. It was, we're stealing that. Oh, did you see that? Let's do that. Hey, actor playing the chairman of a worldwide corporation, even though you look more like a professional couch surfer and part-time singer in a Sublime cover band? Yeah, this is Hugo Weaving. Just do your best impression of him. Here's a burned CD of 311's greatest hits for you if you make it extra hammy and obvious that you're just doing a Hugo Weaving in The Matrix impression.
Nice.
Well, we finally got zombies exactly 30 minutes and 53 seconds into the movie. The rest of the time has been filled with Alice flying around North America in like a World War II era single prop plane? Listen, the more questions you ask about that, the worse you're going to feel about how you've chosen to spend 90 precious minutes of your life. Where the fuck did she learn to fly when it wasn't established in the past 3 movies? That's not the kind of shit you can just learn by feel. At least not more than once. Where the fuck does she get fuel? I gotta stop now or I'm gonna need to go get an Advil. And I was right. BT Dubs, the world is fine. The world that they specifically told us and showed us on a CGI map was just one gigantic desert wasteland is fucking fine.
We saw
now.
that in the last movie.
All the
from
topography
space.
and the zones and like deciduous forests and shit are all still there, and it's all still just downright verdant. Nothing here matters. None of it. It's all spur-of-the-moment ideas. Wouldn't it be cool if we did this? But, sir, that contradicts this whole big thing that we already established. Fuck you, you're fired. Get on board, bitches.
J.J. Abrams' School of
So far, they
Screenwriting.
have completely ripped off The Matrix, Dawn of the Dead, Die Hard, and countless, and I mean countless movie tropes. Like that one straight-to-streaming movie, Atlantic Rim. No. Not Pacific Rim. Atlantic Rim, about a bunch of military people who use gigantic robots to fight alien monsters. That movie had more original ideas than this one. No bullshit. The one thing I will give them is that it's not boring. Like, I'll forgive a pretty fair amount of bullshit in your movie as long as it's not boring.
Yeah.
You kept my attention for 96 minutes, movie. That's not easy to do. I'm like an OG ADHD kid. Don't get cocky, though. You were still pretty unimpressive. They added Wentworth Miller to the cast. He's the dude from, I guess, that one Jailbreak show on Fox like a decade ago. You'd know his face. He seems to be the one person who knows exactly what kind of movie this is and overacts like he took lessons from James Mason, Al Pacino, and Gary Oldman. He chews the scenery like the goddamn rabbits in my yard have been chewing on my goji berry bushes. I'm trying to get some goddamn antioxidants into my system, and all these fucking rabbits care about are themselves. For the last 96 minutes of my life, Paul W.S. Anderson has been my rabbit. Here's the thing. The good. They did some really cool camera tricks, some really good shots, and the muted colors of this film make it look really good. Like, they made a beautiful looking film. Also Mila Jovovich. Yeah. The bad. All that great tech work is just frosting on a turd cake that wants to be The Matrix so bad it is unbelievable. Resident Evil Afterlife is going to get a C-. I'll be back next week with Resident Evil Retribution. This franchise is losing steam quicker than I do when I stay up past 10 o'clock. Until then, be good, everyone.
Womp, 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 womp.
It's not wrong. He's not
we knew
wrong.
it was coming, though, right? It was like...
It's the next
we
one
knew
that I'm really
like,
interested in.
I don't even remember the next... Like, so what's the last two are Retribution and what?
I don't know what the... Is the other one Welcome to Raccoon City? The reboot, sort of?
I don't think so.
I don't remember anymore.
Oh, well. Doesn't matter. Reverend Scott's
He'll
here.
tell us next week.
And I'm sure he's going to review Prey also, because I know he's been chomping at the bit to talk about it, so.
Okay. But
Either way.
anyway,
All right, let's get into
music
the show.
festivals are a giant clusterfuck 9 times out of 10.
Not when I went to the gathering of the Juggalos.
If you have a problem with juggalos, you can stay home sitting on your dumb bitch ass.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. With Reverend Scott.
Put a dick in my mouth for water. What?
I don't know.
Hey there, Bill and Chris. This is Reverend Scott.
What do you want, weirdo?
I want to welcome you back to your favorite podcast segment.
Which I can never remember the name of. And I apologize, but is what it is.
Hurtful. Anyway, there's only one movie that I want to talk about today, especially because you both just reviewed it too. But quickly before I do that, I'm going to give you bad grades for your Patreon pick reviews from last week. Cool?
It's cool, I guess.
Sure.
I guess. I don't know.
First, we have The Visitor. Tell us about that, Bill.
I mean, we talk about the Italian ripoff flick, and how they are the masters of it. This one, they just decided to pretty much rip off, everything.
Yeah.
And put it all in one movie.
Sounds original, but I'm going to have to give this one a B+ because I was the first to find a torrent of this movie. Therefore, I must champion it at all costs.
Which is fine.
It's fine.
But don't get mad when other people are like, hey, you found garbage.
I'm not mad at all. Anyway, I give your review of The Visitor a D-. Moving on to Luz, the Flower of Evil or something. Give us a plot synopsis of that one, Bill.
Nah, no, I'm good.
Okay, fine. How about you give me an idea of what we're dealing with here? What's this movie like?
This film, if you like The Witch, you'll like this.
I don't know about that.
No? Okay.
I don't know.
That doesn't help me at all. I give it an A-, and I give your review a D+ this time. Much better. Okay, let's get to the juicy part of the segment, because I watch Prey on your boy Hulu. Lord knows there's no other movies on there to watch. First of all, let's get this out of the way, because I know you both reviewed Prey this week already, and we may have to argue about this one a bit.
Because obviously my opinion is what ends all arguments.
We'll see about that, because I know that Chris has already compared Prey to the pinnacle of the whole series.
Predator 2.
And Bill made it crystal clear that this new film is woke political feminist trash, and the whole point is to shove its Mary Sue anti-male lead down our throats in an effort to make us all eat more soy products.
Yes, you're missing the point I'm making here, though.
Purposely, I think.
And I'm here to tell you that you're both wrong. You're wrong about Prey, and I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, Bill didn't even watch the whole movie. He was too busy studying the inside of his own eyelids.
I am so tired. I am sorry if I was falling asleep sitting here.
So to be quite honest, I think Bill just made all that up.
I don't know, he might have.
And Chris, I hate to tell you this, but Prey doesn't compare to Predator 2. No, because it's better. I think it compares better to the original Predator. And obviously not in story so much and whatnot, but I mean in quality and overall enjoyment. One of the main differences from Predator is that Prey has no huge stars acting in it. Some that have been acting quite a while, but not necessarily well-known actors. And being set so long ago in the early 1700s, it kind of made it easier to get engrossed in this story, not seeing somebody like, say, Tom Cruise in a feudal Japan or something like that. And I think what makes this work extremely well is the fact that this is the story of Naru, her journey to going against the tribe norms and becoming a hunter. It just so happens the predator lands nearby for his own hunting excursion. Her older brother is already an established hunter, and while he gives her some grief about her goals and his friends beat the shit out of her, he's overall supportive of her, and I really like seeing that, as well as her learning more and more as the movie progresses, trial and error and lots of practicing, all leading to a more believable climax and conclusion to the film. I thought the pacing was great. I liked how the action kept ramping up and got more dangerous and involved the Predator more and more as the film went on. I thought the look of the Predator and his tech were both terrific. It felt like a more primitive version of the Predator, but at the same time, it didn't feel like a being that couldn't have mastered interstellar space travel. And I really liked the active camo. It was a cool design, how it had those little geometric shapes that turned red and then turned into invisibility. I thought it was really cool, especially how it interacted with, say, like when the wolf bit his leg and stuff like that. A majority of the effects were handled well, especially the way the gore was handled. You're shown just enough to get the point across without going too overboard. This had scenes that really stuck with me as well, such as the fight with the grizzly bear or the scene in the field of tall grass where they had that overhead view of an invisible predator bearing down on Naru, leaving a trail of blood behind him from a fresh kill. Just amazing visuals there. And I felt like the ending was truly earned, even though I've seen some people complain because they thought the Predator somehow forgot how his own weapons worked or some shit like that. And when I see that, I imagine a conversation with one of those people would go like,
"No, yeah, but I don't see how it went well. It seemed like, from what I watched, a disaster all around."
I don't know what you're watching, man.
Because that wasn't it at all. Naru used the same style of cunning, planning, and survival tactics that Dutch used in the original Predator. Not to mention the real MVP, her dog. Yes. And I think those people are also conveniently overlooking that this Predator was shot point blank in the head and lost part of his arm and is bleeding profusely and shot multiple times by the fur traders. He has been through the ringer. At the end of the day, it wasn't about her overcoming negativity or just being a woman as much as it was about reaching a goal that she felt was against the norms of her tribe, and it was just doing everything you can to attain it, proving to herself that she could be a hunter, and later on proving to the whole tribe that she could be as well. And I think it's about time that I graded this.
Was that really, really loud, or is it me?
No, that was loud. That was loud.
All right.
So at the end of the day, Prey, in my opinion, is the best Predator sequel and is right on par with the original film. It's definitely the best Predator sequel.
I'm not sure.
I highly recommend you see it twice, and I give it an A. Okay, that's it for this week, but make sure you tune in next time to Outside the Cinema when Bill and Chris have 2 bowls of mashed potatoes. Bill wants them both, but Chris has other plans.
Come on. What harm could there be in sticking my dick in one of them?
So look forward to that and so many more dicks in the mashed potatoes. But until then, peace and love, guys. Okay, I'm back again. I just thought I'd stick around for a while longer.
You should go away.
Oh.
Like, this is weird. This is weird. You should go away.
Okay.
Well, there you have it, guys.
It's going to be interesting.
Another show, another week.
It's going to be interesting when he listens to it and realizes he chastised us for everything he said.
Ah, dick. Thank you for listening to the show. Join our Facebook group. Go to Facebook groups and search Outside the Cinema. Follow us on Instagram at Cthulhu, at OTC Bill. Yeah, I have no idea what we're doing next week. I got to dig into the list. I think we've gotten something covered from everyone that submitted stuff. If you are a Patreon member, though, and you haven't submitted a film for us to cover yet, please do. You can email it to us or just send it through the messenger system on Patreon. That's probably the easiest way to do it. And if you'd like to join the Patreon, go to patreon.com/outside the cinema. And that's about it.
Sounds good to me.
All right, everyone have a good week. We'll be back next week.
Bye.